Hello, everyone. This is Filippo Merli. I'm the GM and co-founder of Here Fashion Hub, and welcome to another episode of our webinar, The Show Must Go Meta. This webinar is organized in collaboration with the Consulate General of Italy in Hong Kong and supported by Hong Kong Trade Development Center. As we all know, there is a lot of hype and noise around the Metaverse world, and today we're going to dive deeper into all the opportunities that are popping up in this space and how creators and startups can benefit from them. To do so, I'm delighted to be joined by an exceptional panel today, and let's start introducing our guest. I'm joined by Valeria Portale, Director at the Blockchain Observatory, Politecnico di Milano. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, everybody.
Erich Wong, Head of Growth at the Sandbox. Thanks for being with us.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you guys here.
And welcome to Ken Wong, Senior Lecturer of the Department of Communication Design at the Hong Kong Design Institute. Thanks for your time.
Hello, nice to meet you.
And last but not least, welcome to Rebecca Selbach. I hope to pronounce your name well. Head of Operation at the Fashion Tech Accelerator. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Hi, everyone. And yes, the name was pronounced very well.
Okay, great. But before starting, let me quickly remind that this event is also part of the Italian Design Pavilion activities, which aim to promote the Made in Italy design ecosystem in Asia. You can find the link to the showcase below. But I let Ms. Antonietta Cornacchia, Deputy General Consul in Hong Kong, to spend a few words more and give us a welcome remarks. Antonietta, thank you so much for supporting these activities and for making the time.
Thank you, Filippo. Thank you very much. Just a few words to welcome you all today in this webinar and to thank you for your participation. First of all, let me thank all the speakers for their interest and their support of our initiative. As Filippo already told, this webinar is part and it is organized in the context of the Design Inspire Fair, which is a major exhibition on design that takes place in Hong Kong. Is organized by the Hong Kong Trade and Development Council. It used to be in presence, but it's in the last 3 or 4 years has been organized virtually. And since 2019, Italy has actively participated in the exhibition with the Italian Design Pavilion, which is a virtual space organized by the Consulate General of Italy in Hong Kong and powered by Here Fashion Hub. And I thank again Filippo for his efforts. Until the end of July, you have the chance to visit the Italian pavilion, online pavilion, on the Design Inspire website. And you can make a virtual tour of the excellencies of Italian design schools and associations, and also take part in webinars and workshops like the one that we are having today, in order to discuss and analyze outstanding topics related to design. Innovation and technology related to the design industries are one of the main, I may say the leading topic of the 2023 edition. And indeed, today's webinar is focused on the impact of technology and of technology on the creative industry. For sure, the increase in the use of technology hides many challenges, but it gives also a lot of opportunities. And our presence today, our virtual presence today, is, despite the world is still tackling the pandemic crisis, is a proof that technology can be a bridge, can be a problem solver. In fact, physical distance is basically not an issue anymore. And in relation to the impact of technology on the design industry, it will be very interesting to see how design industry will cope with this new scenario and how it will exploit the new opportunities that will arise from this new situation. I don't want to steal too much time. As we said before, Italians can talk for hours. So I leave the floor to the distinguished guests, and I look forward to hearing more about this new, I don't know how to call it, this new entity. I don't know, maybe you can help me, which is Metaverse, and how it can transform. It is already transformed. It is already transforming the creative industry. So I thank you all again for being us today, and enjoy the discussion. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Antonietta, again. And so without further ado, let's start. So Antonietta already tried to define what Metaverse is. And I will start the panel asking Erich the first question, because we all know that the Sandbox is one of the worldwide leading decentralized metaverse. And can you briefly explain us what the Metaverse is, and first, and second, the secret sauce of the Sandbox, because why the Sandbox has been so successful to create such a big community of creators, players, business partners, and so on.
Thank you so much. So a very quick introduction about Sandbox. Actually, the Sandbox is one of the largest independent user-generated content platform and also gaming ecosystem. Our team worked with multiple brands names to drive growth in virtual real estate, building on an innovative mobile game with 40 million downloads in 2012. So stepping into the blockchain area, actually we start with not just only providing digital assets, but also we're also providing tools for free to the developer to get started with their own creations to step into this metaverse area. So globally, we partner with Warner Music Group, The Walking Dead, Snoop Dogg, Adidas, and also in Hong Kong, we recently signed a wide range of companies, including such as Ocean Park, HSBC, Standard Chartered, and also we just launching a very special campaign with Regal Hotel yesterday. So this is one of the special experience that opened for the public, for everyone to try on. So to talking about Sandbox, we are not just only providing a digital property, digital assets or NFT, but also, as I mentioned, we have tools to let people to get started with their own creations. So these tools, we have two tools in total. So we have Fox Edit, and also we have the Game Maker, which is helping people to get started with their own development. Talking about Fox Edit, actually is a 3D creation tools, but people, they don't really need to have a very good in 3D modeling skill, but they can just build the voxel access, just like they're building Legos. So it's pretty easy to use it. And then the other one is about Fox Edit, about Game Maker. Actually is a gaming behavior environment. People can use the access they created and put it into this area. And actually it's totally without, you don't need to have any coding skill to get started with that. So I think with these two kind of tools, we encourage the creator to create their own access, their own gaming experience into this metaverse area. And also we make sure that every loyalty and also the ownership is totally belongs to the creator himself. So it's not belongs to our platform, but the creators. So I think this one is very important for the people to understand that how they gonna use to own their own digital assets and also how to manage their own creations. Globally, actually, we have actually, and also there's a limited for the land we provided. So this is 166 and 464 lands in total. We already opened it like over 70% for the global users. So, and then the rest of the 30% we will keep for the land. We are having some land sale campaign for everyone. So we're looking for actually the metaverse is not just only owned by those branding or big brands, but we imagine that we also want to drive that maybe they need to have like more than 70% is come from user generated content. So that's why I think this is one of the very good environment for every creator and also project owner. They can get stuck with this environment.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Erich. So the ownership thing is a crucial matter in the metaverse.
Exactly.
And yeah, I will move like the perspective to Italy and asking Valeria. You are running the blockchain observatory at the Politecnico di Milano. So I guess you have a pretty wide view about the Italian blockchain and Web3 ecosystem. Can you give us a bit of background about it, and with a particular focus on how creator and startup can seize opportunities?
Yes, in the observatory, we analyze all the applications and projects that are connected to blockchain and Web3 in particular, worldwide, but also in Italy. What we are seeing in Italy? First of all, we have seen that we have a lot of different applications and projects that are connected to blockchain in general. We divide the projects in three groups. Like, first of all, we have the projects that are more connected to cryptocurrency. We call them Internet of Value, like where blockchain is used like for transactional stuff and application. We have cryptocurrency, we have a stable coin, and we have also the application of central bank digital currency. About this topic in Italy, we have seen a lot of players that are starting to offering some services like exchange or service like wallet and so on. And we have seen also a lot of interest from Italian people to have cryptocurrency. We estimated around 7 million of Italian people that they have token or cryptos. Is a very huge number in Italy for that. And I think it's really interesting to understand how this market about cryptocurrency will develop in Italy also. The second group of application that we have seen also in Italy is called blockchain for business. And they use in this kind of application, we see that companies, they use blockchain like instrument for traditional process, for example, for sharing data or sharing information. And we have seen a lot of applications also in Italy that are connected to, for example, to the Made in Italy, to tracking the products worldwide, and to have a decentralized and distributed ledger where you can put all information of this kind of products. Which kind of companies that are investing in this solution? They are in the agri-food for Made in Italy, but also the luxury brand, Italian brand luxury, that they are starting to have some solution that create a kind of ecosystem that are developed about blockchain for business. The third groups of application instead is called decentralized web, is more connected to the Web3 and the Metaverse and other applications that are connected to this world. Here about this group, yes, we have seen that Italian companies are starting to invest, are starting to have new idea, new business, new opportunity. And we have seen a lot of hype around the NFT, like example of token that for collectibles, and also the luxury brand that are starting to invest in this kind of solution to create a kind of fidelization with their customer and create new opportunities in the metaverse or other Web3 application. Yes, we are at the beginning about this topic because it's not easy to understand what we will see in the future about this topic, about the Web3, but we have seen a lot of startups that are working on that, also in Italy, and the idea is not only to have an application that is only for Italian market, but there are a lot of Italian companies that are investing to have a worldwide application that can be used everywhere. And if we look at the investment of Italian companies on this technology, we have seen that in 2022, we had around an investment of 40 million euro. Is a very few market right now. 40 million is not comparable with other digital innovation. Remember that in Italy, we have around 100 billions of euro of investment in digital innovation. So 40 million is only the beginning about this technology, but we have seen a growing up of this investment. The year before, in 2021, the investment was 28 millions of euros. So yes, we believe that Italian companies are starting to believe in these technologies, to understand the opportunities. Right now, we are in the early stage, but we are sure that they are creating the assets and the competence necessary to develop new opportunities also for Italian companies about this topic.
Thank you, Valeria. And I'm glad also to listen a bit of optimism, because last year for the crypto world wasn't that easy, but it's good to know that it's like for 28 to 30, it's still like not a big number, but it is growing. So that's the important thing. But let me go back to Hong Kong. To zoom in a bit more on the talent side with Ken. Ken is the works for the HKDI Hong Kong Design Institute, which is one of the leading ones here in this part of the world. And he was telling me that HKDI is engaged in a 3-year digital development plan where the focus will be in the digital development area, where the focus will be also on the metaverse area. All right, can you explain to our audience a bit more about this plan? And because there are many creators and students listening to us right now who would like to know more.
Yeah. So first, thanks for your questions. Let me give some backgrounds about HKDIs. We mainly provide the vocational trainings and in the area of different design areas. So like graphic designers, exhibition designers, and some event planners and illustrators. So and last years, when we see the fast development of the metaverse, so we have an ideas and to study what is the metaverse and what opportunities can this bring to our students. And we see that it may bring more new job opportunities for our graduates. So we start to plan some learning new development plans for our students. And one of our initiatives is for our students to get future ready. And to make this happens, first we seek for different kind of metaverse platforms, and one of it is the Sandbox. And as they got the tools is ready, the platform is ready, and also we see there's so many industrial partners is already in the platforms. So we decide to develop our virtual campus in the Sandbox, and this is a 3 years plan. So just newly begin this year, we start with some small projects, like we collaborate with different companies to train our students 3D visualization skills, start from modeling, renderings, and then we also have engaged some competitions for our students to participate, and this is for them to open eyes to get more insights from other artists' work. And also in the coming years, we will engage our students to design different kind of experience to put into these platforms. And so to equip our students to fulfill our goals, so some skills, some new skills we have to train our students, like digital modeling specific for Metaverse, and gamifications for students to design the game experience. And also at the end, we target to have a outcomes to build our campus and try to make different events to be happened in this virtual campus, like our virtual exhibitions, our virtual graduation shows, and even some admissions activities can be happened in this Metaverse. And so this is our plan in the coming 3 years.
All right, Ken, that sounds very interesting and exciting. And then I would like to focus a bit more on startups. We mentioned already, both Valeria and Erich, they mentioned already about startup, but I would like to ask Rebecca, so let's go back to Italy. Because you guys at the Fashion Tech Accelerator deal with many startups, you're supporting young startups and a bit more mature to navigate the growth journey. And can you tell us a bit more about how you have those startups to stay relevant in such a fast-paced environment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely exciting times right now. So many new things are happening, and every year there's just so many new opportunities coming out of that as well. And first of all, of course, that creates a great environment for startups, because there's so many things that they can leverage, and there's so many things that aren't explored yet, and that startups really have a great chance to kind of play a key role and not have to compete with some of the legacy companies, but really move into a space where there just aren't any legacy companies yet. And we definitely try to support our startups in taking advantage of this environment as well. I would say one important part is kind of to help them keep an open mind and really stay curious and stay up to date as well with all the new developments, and that's really almost already a full-time job, because there's so many things happening, as I was saying. And that's definitely something that we also try to do at FTA, is since of course startups, they have so many things to do, so little time, often limited resources as well. So what we try to do is, as an accelerator and an investor in startups, is to ourselves stay up to date with things, and also actively really work on scouting new opportunities, scouting new ways to support our startups, and new things that have come up that startups can use, and maybe spaces that are being created that a startup might want to move into. And of course, Web3 and the Metaverse are some of the key areas there, especially as we were saying before. Of course, we invest in fashion startups, fashion tech startups, and the Metaverse is definitely a key market that the fashion industry is looking to. So there's a lot of opportunities there for sure. But what we also try to do is to make sure that we critically evaluate these opportunities and understand whether any new development or any new thing could be something that is sustainable in the long run, or seems to at least have potential in the long run, or if there are just some things that come up for a short time and then maybe go away. So that's definitely also something that we try to help with, and that we try to make sure that we are responsible advisors to our startup in this way as well, and provide them some expertise there. And so, as I was saying, with things happening at such a fast pace, I think it's also really key for startups to, while being aware of things that are happening and taking advantage of those new opportunities, also not to lose sight of their initial vision, right? And of where they were planning to go or where they want to go. And I think especially for startups that are kind of still finding themselves, right, and forging their path, I think it's very easy to kind of get sidetracked or overwhelmed or unsure of what to do with so many things changing so quickly. And whether, you know, the initial path that the startup has decided to follow is the right one, or whether maybe they should try something new, one of those things that are kind of coming up or are really trendy. And I think that's also where we come in and try and support is to take a moment to evaluate whether, you know, you're tempted to make a decision and moving into a space that may be coming a little bit out of FOMO, kind of that fear of missing out and trying to be, you know, always at the forefront of things, or if it's something that really fits with your vision and with your overall business and strategy. And of course, if there's also enough data to at least, you know, make a good case and make it a responsible decision. So I think, yeah, just being there as a sounding board and helping and kind of objectively analyzing opportunities is something that can be quite useful for startups. And I think just the fact that a startup is part of an accelerator, any other, you know, program, or even just in general having kind of external investors that have a say in how things are done or what strategy to follow is in that sense actually a great setup, because it kind of creates that environment automatically where you have to come together with several people, look at things together and talk them through. And I think that's incredibly valuable, especially with you know, those new developments where no one really has the answers, right? So it's useful to have a bit more of a balanced and well-founded decision-making process with different perspectives being considered. And I think it's also great to have kind of good methodologies in place for the startups to make sure that, you know, they have that path to greatness and they have their overall identity and structure to follow, but at the same time, there's also enough flexibility to incorporate any changes and also, you know, see those or spot those new opportunities and be able to take advantage of that. Because I think that's one of the great values of a startup is that they're fast and taking advantage of new opportunities much faster than many of the larger companies. So it's also important to keep that in mind and allow for that flexibility not to disappear, because it's one of the things that makes a startup such an interesting venture and such a cool type of company, really. So I think overall it's kind of a balancing act between, you know, leveraging the new technologies and the new developments and also spotting all of those opportunities, while also kind of staying true and committed to a business's kind of vision and identity to a certain extent. And I would say that's what we try and help startups navigate as successfully as possible.
Well, that's great. Thanks for sharing. And you mentioned also something about investors, and but maybe we can talk a bit about that later, because I would like to know, you know, even though like this storm is hovering for like the last 2 years because of COVID, because wars and because other things, I would like to know more a bit what's the situation about investors in Italy. But let's go back first to Hong Kong. I would like to ask Erich a similar question, because you are in the Web3. I mean, your business it has Web3 in its DNA. And last year and still now the industry is facing kind of a winter because many things happen in the meantime. And before Luna, after FTS, in the meantime, other things happen. My question is, why and how Metaverse stakeholders, I mean, from creators to VCs and everything in between, can retain their high morale in face of all these challenges that were pretty tough. And I guess that you have several interesting activities in the pipeline for 2023. Can you share a bit more about that?
Yes, definitely. So actually, yeah, talking about a crypto winter. So this is really a very big topic for the market. They also always mention about how we're gonna do for the next step. So, but actually, Sandbox is quite simple. We're just focusing on to follow our footsteps and also our roadmap to keep developing and also to keep everything listed on our roadmap before. So since last year, even though yeah, we actually drive a very good result about our token and also our land sales since since like before March. There's a very good value for the token as well. But after that, actually everything is dropping pretty much. But actually, you can see Sandbox is not stopping right there, but we still keep doing a lot of special campaign and also some special release for the public users. To share some data with you guys, actually when we do the Alpha Season 2 last week at around like May, we have got like 3 million something wallet connected with Sandbox platforms. So when we doing the Alpha Season 3 at August and September, the wallet connected with Sandbox is already grown to like over 4 million amount of the wallet connect with our platforms. So you can see that even though there's a crypto winter or a bear market, but I think still we still have a lot of gamification and also play to earn and also special campaign for the users all over the world. They can stop them to get more attention about it, even though people said that this is maybe it's not a good timing for investment. But I would say even though the bad market or the crypto window is the best timing for people to get started with their own creations, to get started with their to own their first maybe digital assets, and then maybe they have a lower like boundary to get into this area. So even though when we do the resuming the land sales in December this last year, we also drive a very good results on that. So we have increasing like over 1,000 new landowners through this campaign as well. So yeah, so I would say there's nothing very like infected our roadmap. So for next year, actually, yes, definitely we will have a lot of campaign coming up. So honestly, we just have like to grow the creator parts. We also have competitions last year with HKDI. So with Ken together, we have box-edit competition. So more focusing for the new generation creator from HKDI. So they also created a very impressive voxel items for us to review. So and then next year, actually coming up next week, we will have a lunar season campaign, more focused for the Chinese community, and also some people who are really familiar with the lunar season, so they can celebrate it all over the world inside the Metaverse with this special campaign together. And then next up, we also we have just released a new teaser of our development tools, which is the Gamica 0.8. So that will have a lot of new features coming up. So for example, like we are upgrading the multiplayer features for people to create some multiplayer experience, because we're pretty sure that the social hub and the better multiplayer experience is much more easy to attract more people to get into the environment. Then they can interact, they can social, and then they can maybe somehow we will have the first like concert coming up this year. So this is really we also really excited to looking forward to see this kind of new experience launching in Sandbox. So and then to drive more these users to coming in, and also there will be a lot of partnership experience that they already created. Then they are also looking forward to have a new release and also launching at a coming like few months later. So this is what still, as I mentioned, even though this is crypto winter, But I think this is the right timing for us to building the trust to the users and then the trust to the investor also, because they also know understand about, even though maybe the market is not that good, but people did not stop building something inside Metaverse because this is really a long-term project. It's not talking about like 3 months or 6 months, but maybe a decade or maybe 5 years or 10 years.
Well, thanks, Erich. So it looks like it's a good time to buy the Sandbox token. I'm joking. But what you said, it leads to the next question that I would like to explore more with Ken. Erich mentioned about the competition that you're going to have, that Sandbox is going to have to with HKDI. Can you tell us and the audience what are the benefits of this competition from the both side, Ken, from the student side and from the company side? Because I mean, there were like startups that would like to explore more solution and opportunities with schools, because also Politecnico, they do many Politecnico Milano, they do many competition with creators. So if you can explain what are the benefits from the both sides, it would be great.
Yeah, so I think for competitions is always a win-win situations for both the organizers and the participants. And for our students, so first of all, the virtual art or the virtual edits, the tools is new to them. And when we launch these competitions with students, the first thing is they think this will be very complicated, because it's about 3D, it's about modeling, and it's about 3D renderings. So our students, be honestly, is a bit scared. They're afraid they can't handle this 3D things. But after that, when we give them some seminars, sharings, and also for the tools, there's so many resource we can find from the internet. So students start to learn themselves, and then they start to create their first virtual art. And after that, they find that actually the tools is not that difficult to handle. Then they start to create their own designs, try to modify to make something more impressive, and also this also gives them a confidence that they believe that they can do something in the metaverse. And of course, for the organizers, I think this is a kind of promotions, because when we want to develop some things, we actually want more people to know, no matter the tools or the space. So start from students. I think this is a very good a start point. So we educate students about the metaverse knowledge, and then the public will see the outcomes is very positive. So I think this is a very good opportunities for both sides.
Yeah, I'm sure, and then probably you guys many companies who do competition. They get fresh ideas from students from different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. Can I give some supplement about it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, from Sandbox point of view, actually, we really think that the education part is really important for the future market. So because of, as you know, we already bringing a lot of branding inside Metaverse. So, but the point is, some of the internal staff, they don't really have those knowledge about development and also about like operations. So to work with educational associations, we kind of can let the creator, they can get started in a very early stage. And then after they graduate, they can be one of the metaverse creator to help this branding and also to help this industry to provide more and more content in the futures. So that's why we also have another funding to encourage the new student and also the new creator, and also some of new business to join it together for this stage. So yeah, that's why we are also having Sandbox Academy to share more information about how they can do the development.
Well, yeah, thanks for mentioning that. And just to finish with Ken, I would like to ask if you're open to have a competition also to international companies or just with Hong Kong companies. I mean, HKDI. Usually, no. You do like competition with local companies or also with like European companies.
So you mean in the future or
in the past or in the future? Yeah.
I mean, in the past, we only have one competitions with the Sandbox,
right.
And in the future, of course, we are target to engage more local company as well as international companies to precipitate to join in these events. As you know, the Metaverse is the concept is decentralized, so we of course want more people from different countries, different space to join in these events.
Well, for example, Italy, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. Let's go back talking a bit more about startup, because Erich mentioned a very interesting principle. So during the bearish market, it's time to buy. I would like to ask to Rebecca if Italian investors are pouring money into startups. It's a bearish market, so the price is low, so they should do something. What's your stand about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think it's never as easy as, there's no money or there's tons of money. There's always a little bit kind of in between that. And I think, of course, it's for startups and tech startups and specifically certain sectors, it's of course a more difficult moment in time right now. But at the same time, I think it's, that's kind of also how that works. There's always sectors that are hot in one moment, or then maybe not in the next moment. So in part, that's kind of just the characteristic of the market in general. And I think especially, the metaverse and fashion tech, with fashion being, a key industry in Italy, I think the interest in innovation in that area is not going to disappear entirely. And I'm also very, very confident that, the interest will come back and increase again when, also, of course, it's always in a context. You have to look at the general economy and the world and in Europe and in Italy. And of course, it's a difficult moment in time, but that doesn't mean, it'll stay like this. And I think, people have definitely identified the opportunities that come out of the metaverse and Web3. And so I think we'll likely witness in the next years more, increasing interest in that again, and also then with that increasing investment. But what I also think is that actually for startups, a difficult market in a way, or a difficult moment to get funding, can also be an opportunity in the sense that it helps them be more conservative with their money. It helps them, focus on really getting things right rather than growing maybe before they're ready. Because I think that's what you see very often when startups get funding very easily, and a lot of funding as well, is that, then the focus is just on growth. And I think very, very often that might be a bit premature, in the sense that very often it's important to get the basics right and to really create a solid foundation on which to grow a company then. And I think in a sense that's how startups can also, use this moment in time, is to focus on getting the basics right, to focus on getting their financials right as well, in the sense that, overspending is never really going to prepare anyone for sustainable growth, I think. So taking on too many people too early, or spending on something that you might not need to be spending money on right now, or at least not as much. I think that's also important lessons, and that's ways that startups can deal in a way. But I think in the end also, as I said in the beginning, startups, there's always some money there, right? So because of course, especially if you look at venture capital, the money that the GPs, that the VC funds have raised, they have to employ that money as well. So in some way, there is money there. And I think that the really great and really disruptive startups, they will be able to get funding, even if it's not a great time right now. It's just that maybe the ones that are not as disruptive might have a harder time getting money. In a way, that's kind of just the natural selection of startups in a way. And of course, it's tougher in difficult funding environments. But I think if you have a great startup and if you focus on getting the real, the important basics right, then I think, it's important to also just stay resilient in a way and persevere and know that, markets will change again. And I think the interest in the metaverse is definitely not something that will go away. On the contrary, I would say.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a very exciting year. And I think we have time for one more question to Valeria. We can wrap up this discussion with you. And so before you mentioned about like situation of the Web3 in Italy, but I know that you're dealing with the Web3 ecosystems around the world. And do you see anything that we Italians can take inspiration from them, or the other way around? If you notice any particular edge that the Italian ecosystem has over the other ones?
Yes, thank you for your question. First of all, I would like to say that yes, we analyzed around 2,000 projects worldwide in the last 7 years about blockchain in general. 2,000, and half of them are only announcement, not project, not real project. Only 1,000 were project, concrete project, live project, and operative project. And in the last 2 years, we have seen the Web3 part of this project are growing and growing instead of Internet of Value and blockchain for business. At the beginning, it was only blockchain for business. Right now, worldwide, we have seen the Web3 projects that are growing up more and more. Remember, our research is connected to companies, traditional companies that are investing in this kind of technology, not startups where maybe they are more oriented and focalized on Web3 instead of traditional players. So yes, we have seen a kind of hype about Web3 in the last 2 years, so 2021 and 2022. Instead, in Italy, we are more focalized on the blockchain for business, or at least it means that we are more focalized on applications that are connected to traditional business instead of new opportunities, even if we have seen also growing this part. So what we can learn from worldwide ecosystem, that first of all, the idea and the application of decentralized app in general, to develop decentralized app is a very, very important step for to have a Web3 ecosystem, a concrete Web3 ecosystem. Instead, I said before, in Italy, we are more focalized on token like NFT and so on, instead of decentralized app. So first of all, decentralized app. Secondly, the DeFi, this decentralized finance that we have seen that worldwide is already well developed. Instead, in Italy, we have we are a bit afraid to change the financial ecosystem. Instead, to understand that the opportunity of financial ecosystem to bring new technologies, I think is really important also for Italian market. And we know that one problem is connected to regulators, like to understand which kind of regulation ecosystem, regulation environment we will have in the future. We will see a different evolution of this market. So we believe that, yes, now we have the European framework, regulator framework that is working on that, like with MiCAR or other regulators that are working to create the right environment to develop this ecosystem. So I believe that the Italian ecosystem must have the courage to invest in the innovative part of this technology, not only what can create the same process that we did with a traditional ecosystem, and I put a new technology like blockchain. The Italian people must have the courage to invest in new business model, new opportunity. This thing that is very important for Italian market.
So a bit more of courage from Italian people. Yeah, let's try to do it. All right. Thanks again, Valeria. I think we have a couple of minutes more. If any one of you want to add anything. All right. I see that Antonietta is still here. So we are running out of time. But I want to thank you all for joining us today and sharing all this inspiration insight with us and with the audience. It's been awesome. And thanks again to Antonietta and the all Consul General of Italy in Hong Kong. And thanks to KTDC, and thanks to you all to join us again. And
thank you.